Y'all, I start med school in 3 days. 3 days. 3 days. The big 3. I'm super excited. So I had to do this video. I was been thinking like, will I be successful? Will I fail? I can't fail in exams. I can't do this. Can't do that. I gotta be great. So, I'm just excited. Let's get into this. Yo, what's up everybody? Ruben Davis, Future Doc here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about my approach, my plan to try to be successful in med school. Matter of fact, that will make me successful in med school. Obviously, probably not without adjustments and things like that, but here is what I've gathered from all my data from folks I know that are in med school, from doing my pre-matriculation program, from what I know about myself, to try to be successful. All right. So let's just dive right into this plan real quick. The big idea with my approach and plan on being successful in med school is staying ahead. With all of the things that we were learning, all the information that's going to be thrown at me, I feel like it's so important to stay ahead. Like the one thing you're going to hear a million freaking times when you get into med school is it's like drinking from a fire hose or a fire hydrant or whatever. Just so much information coming at you at once, and trying to catch up on that would just be god awful. Like even just in my master's, when I would get behind like a day or two, like that was trash. So I know that doing this, trying to play catch up, it's not something I want to do. And I know that was my biggest downfall in undergrad, was just getting behind, just having too much fun, or just not really knowing that I had assignments. Because like I don't want to fall into a trap that I felt a lot to in undergrad, which was like, somebody asked me like, hey Ruben, did you do X assignment? And I'm like, what assignment? Wait, it's due today? I'm looking crazy because I didn't even know we had an assignment. So that's something that I absolutely do not want to fall into with med school. Like I want to make sure that I'm staying ahead of it. I want to be the one that's reminding other people, hey, did you do this assignment? This assignment is due tomorrow. This assignment is due today. You got some time to lunch. Get that done. Like, what I'm saying? Like I want to be that person for other people, so that, I'm staying ahead. I'm on my P's and Q's, and I can, help uplift my fellow M1s as well. So that's the general theme of this. With that, I actually got myself a planner. I got 2 planners actually. I got a really big one that goes on my desk in my studio. That's the monthly one, so I'll put out like all my exams and stuff on there. Then I have like a daily and weekly one as well, like the smaller one that I can keep with me, that while I'm in class or while I'm doing whatever I can write down things that I have in there, so I can stay organized. Because even outside of med school, I have a lot of other things that I like to do as well. Like for example, I have my own photography, videography business that I would like to keep, going in various ways. I have a team and things, so they're helping me keep that going. And we're planning on doing a lot of other workshops and stuff like that. And I need to stay organized. I need to stay on top of events. Date nights with my fiance, and just other things that I need to make sure that I'm on top of, that these planners will help me do. Now, planners are a very new thing for me. I tried using planners in undergrad. It just never felt. And it's like I would start using them, like I'd write stuff in it, but I would forget to look at it. I forget I had it, and then time would go by and I'm like, oh snap, this thing came up. I put it in my planner, but I haven't looked at my planner since the first day I used it. So, my plan is to write in it daily, like put it in my routine, to look at my planner daily, to add things to it, check things off, create lists for myself of to-dos and what I need to accomplish, to make sure that, I'm staying on top of dates and deadlines and all those kinds of things, because it's going to be a lot of them, I know, and my schedule is going to be crazy, but it's all manageable if I'm being disciplined and consistent and managing my time wisely. So hopefully I'm able to do that. All right. Now, when it comes to the actual work itself, I have a few different things that I'm going to be trying out to see, what works best for me. And then one thing going into this is that I know I need to give myself some grace, knowing that this is a completely new experience for me. Like, yes, I have like the pre-matriculation program. Yes, I have, the word of other people on how it's going to go and some best practices, but that's what's best for them. What's best for me is, what I'll find out. How can I handle all this information? And what they keep saying is, like, with every block, it's going to be like a new experience almost, where you're going to have to change how you study, because anatomy isn't the same as like biochemistry in terms of the information and how you need to learn it, and maybe how your brain processes it. So I know I'm gonna have to adapt a lot, and luckily I feel like that's my number one strength. Like, whenever they ask that question, like in interviews and stuff, like I always say my flexibility, my adaptability, because that's something I've been able to do all my life. Just I get thrown into a situation and adapt to that, and I want to apply that to my study strategy. But first, the part of that, one thing they talk about a lot is like passes. Like, how many times did you get through information? How many times did you look at a piece of information? And that first pass, for me, what I want it to be is pre-reading. So before lectures, like the day before, or maybe even the morning before, depending, I want to pre-read some of the material, not like super in depth, doing my own research type stuff, maybe like minimally, depending on how difficult it's been for me, but like going through the slides, maybe picking out a few different slides and trying to understand what it is for myself, so that when I go into lecture, I'm getting my second pass. All right, this is something that they stress a lot in my pre-matriculation program when we had like the workshops on how to study. We're reading the book Make It Stick, and things like that. But getting that second pass, in class, whereas this is not the first time I'm seeing this information, right? And so that way, hopefully, it reinforces what I pre-read, and it helps it stick just a little bit better. And it's something that I didn't really do in undergrad. I did it a couple of times, and I found that when I did it, even in like when I did it in pre-matric, like I was able to engage with the lecturer so much better, because I was able to ask questions. Because usually for me, when I'm first learning something, I can't ask questions because I don't know what to ask. I'm like, I don't even know what this is. Like, I don't even know what to ask. Like, what would I even ask about this? You know what I'm saying? So pre-reading, I think, will really help with that, and to give me that first initial pass. And also, it's a way to keep me consistent with studying, keep me consistent with my material, so that I'm making sure that I'm looking at my schedule. Okay, what do I need to look at today? You know what I'm saying? So that I'm planning ahead for the next day. It's a way to keep me honest and keep me going. But obviously the key is to do it. Another thing I'm going to do that I learned from, some of my failings in undergrad was seeking help early. So I've been exposed to some of the resources that the school has, as far as like, they have, I forget her title, but she essentially helps you figure out how to study for yourself. She gives you different strategies. She hears what you've done, and she tries to, she works with you to help you to create a strategy to study. So going to her, she was really nice too. I really loved her personality. She was really great. I loved all her workshops and stuff. But going to her and her office like earlier on, even before I start struggling, so that, I'm doing these things, preemptively. That's another thing. Like I said, staying ahead, being preemptive with the struggling, because I know I'm going to struggle regardless. I'm going to have my struggles, but being preemptive with it instead of waiting until like the last minute. Because it's not that, a lot of times I found that it wasn't that I was scared to ask for help. It was that I didn't realize that I needed to ask for help, and that help was something that would make the situation better, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know, it's just kind of weird. It's like, I'm not afraid to say like, I don't know this, but it was like the thought process of like, you need to just go ask for help. Seeking help early from the professor as well, just like going to them, like clarifying some things, and even just to build rapport with them as a professor, and to understand maybe their lecture style, understanding their exam style, the way they like things, like questions, the type of questions they like to ask. They can assist me with like answering them and interpreting questions and things like that, because med school's multiple choice, at least our school's multiple choice, so it's not necessarily like how you formulate a short answer, but more so like interpreting the question correctly and how you synthesize getting down to that, because a lot of these questions are like 2-3 step questions, based off of my pre-matric experience. So seeking help early and often. Another thing, daily studying. All right, this is something that the only time I really did like daily studying was for the MCAT. Other than that, like even in my maths program, I didn't study every day. And that's something that is going to have to change. And I think will be way more beneficial for me because I don't necessarily like to study for long periods of time. Like, I get really, exhausted, and just like my mental capacity to study for like hours and hours at end is not that great. I mean, of course, I'm going to be working on that. I'm going to be working on my study stamina. I'm going to be tapping into that MCAT like grind for med school and trying to see if I can get some longevity with that for actual classes and stuff. But daily studying, it's going to be really hard, to study 6, 7 to 10 hours a day sometimes, just because there's so much material, like literally 4 lectures a day, like 8 to 12, like 3 to 4 lectures a day, all, really, really packed. Hundreds of slides, thousands of slides, by the end of the block to prepare you you have to go through for an exam. So daily studying, combined with the pre-reading and stuff, like I think will help keep me on track, keep me knowledgeable about the things that I need to be knowledgeable about, so that even like for my first exam, for example, like I won't necessarily know what to expect from it because, I don't know this professor, I don't know what kind of questions they like to ask, all that stuff, but at least I'll be prepared, and I think for me, I get the most anxiety and I get the most fear in things from when I don't feel prepared. So daily studying, pre-reading, all those kinds of things will help me stay ahead and to feel prepared, so that, a lot of that anxiety, a lot of that stress can be relieved off me because I know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And it's also helping me stay consistent and, just like making med school a priority, like really being in the trenches, being on the grind, and hopefully having fun with it. That's another thing. Like with all this stuff, I'm going to try to find ways to make it fun, whether that's with a group or, like doing little things with myself to like make it more exciting, like developing games or something. I don't know. I already find it exciting because like this is what I want to do. Like I'm finally in med school, bro. Like I'm finally in med school. Like that's crazy. So that in of itself is exciting, but I'm sure that's going to die down once I start getting pummeled by all the work. But definitely daily studying, something I'm going to have to give. That's another. If you guys have tips, man, please drop them down in the comments below. DM me, whatever tools you guys want to use, like, let me know. I'm really open to hearing what you guys do, what you guys plan to do. I'm really, really open to that. So this next one is a really big one in terms of like, I'm going to have to kind of figure this one out. Will I go to class or not? So as many of you may or may not know, classes in med school are not mandatory. Well, there are a few things that are like, but those are like usually listed on your schedule in advance, like so you can see what activities are mandatory, but they're usually like shorter length things and group activities, and that are mandatory. But the vast majority of my classes are optional. So I can either Zoom into class from home, or some people I haven't heard they like go to the building, but they just Zoom in from a different classroom so that they can like focus a little bit better. Or I can go into class and participate in lecture. So I think initially I'm definitely going to go to class. I'm going to attempt to trudge through the entire 4 hours and stay engaged. God, it's just I'm getting tired already just thinking about it. But wow, I really need some water. Give me a second. Ugh. I really hope that I'm in focus. What was I saying? What was I saying? Oh, well, I go to class. Yeah, I'm going to start off going to class. Just because I think that'll be the most beneficial for me. Is what I'm most used to. Force me to actually like stay, on task and stay ahead, because I feel like if I stop going to class, I'm going to be tempted to stay right here at home, stay in the bed, go to sleep, try to like catch up on lectures as I can, and that will not be good. And will really defeat the purpose of, me creating this whole plan and trying to stay ahead and trying to, really be successful. Because That's the whole goal, is to be successful and to become a doctor, to learn all the things that I need to learn to become a doctor. And that's what I'm going to do. Hopefully that's what this plan allows me to do. So going to class, how am I planning on taking notes? So I have my iPad, iPad Pro here, and I use GoodNotes. So throughout Prereading, I used GoodNotes where I would just take the slides and I'll just write additional information from the slides. That, if they were saying other things, they wrote things on the board, whatever, I would just write them on the slides so that I'm not like just rewriting entire slides. And then I'm gonna take those and study that afterwards. Another thing that I think I'm gonna try is creating Anki cards during lecture. That's gonna be interesting, probably really difficult, because to create a whole Anki card, especially depending on the type of Anki card and stuff like that, trying to keep up and listen to what they're saying while creating Anki cards at the same time, it's gonna be interesting. Maybe I'll do like a bulleted kind of thing first and then create the Anki cards afterwards. We'll see how fast I get with it. We'll try it out. We'll adapt. But that's definitely two strategies that I'm going to be trying to implement like while I'm in lecture. I also want to do kind of an experiment too. Like I might do like a few weeks in class and then I think I'm going to make that a video where a few weeks in class, going to class, in lecture, maybe a few weeks not going to lecture where I am, going to either Zooming from the building. Either way, I'm definitely going to go to the building, but maybe Zooming in or studying while actual lecture is going on and then rewatching the lectures at like 1.5 speed where I can pause and start. I don't know. I'm going to try that, and I'm going to, try some different things. I'll put in the comments below if you, would like to see something like that, from a future video from the future doc. And also really collaborating with, I would say that's probably the final thing, collaborating with my classmates, making sure that we're holding each other accountable, and being a resource for everybody. I'm saying, if I have something, make sure that I share it, and vice versa. Just making sure that, we're supporting each other, because we all have the same goal at the end of the day. Like, you getting an A or me getting an A doesn't not allow you to get an A, or, doesn't allow you to be a doctor, doesn't allow you to not be an orthopedic surgeon. You know what I'm saying? So, just really supporting each other and not having that super gunny mentality where it's like, I gotta just crush everybody around me, because that's just not true. And it's just not helpful for anyone. So that's my approach. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. Let me know if you have any suggestions for me, things I should try, because I'm willing to try some things, and then I'll make a video about it. I'll vlog it, make a video about it, like to show y'all like really how it's going. Also, this is like basically part 1, because this is sort of an intro to my fiance's calling me. This is the intro to it. I'm gonna definitely follow up with you guys about how it's going, how I've changed my schedule, and what's working and what's not working. So I'm gonna keep you guys up to date. Be on the lookout. I'm going to definitely do some videos about, going to class, not going to class. I'm going to do, my first week video, like what's orientation like, white coat ceremony. Oh man, so much content, so much exciting stuff coming along on the Future Doc journey. I'm so glad that you guys are, coming along for that, witnessing that, supporting me, finding, inspiration and motivation for yourself, and hopefully some things that you can find helpful. And if you liked and enjoyed this video and you want to see more stuff like this, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. All right? Future Doc out.